The Prime Minister of Haiti insists 10 Americans illegally tried to take children out of his country. But wait until you hear what some of the families of the kids have to say. The beginning of the end for Don't Ask, Don't Tell. Defense Secretary Gates announces plans today that could end the ban of gays serving openly in the military. We'll talk to an Army lieutenant who is fighting to keep his job. Violent girl fights posted on the internet. We'll hear how teens are tormenting each other and what's being done about it. And 25 years later, we are the world again, this time for Haiti. We'll take a look at the new all-star lineup early this Tuesday morning, February 2nd, 2010. Good morning. I'm Harry Smith.
And I'm Maggie Rodriguez.
And we're still getting news about the Toyota recall. We'll get to you the latest on that in just a little bit.
Also ahead this morning, a big day in Hollywood. The nominations for the 82nd Annual Academy Awards will be announced, and we will have it for you live right here on The Early Show. And this year, something new. There will be 10 Best Picture nominees, including, possibly, probably, Avatar. Gotta happen. But what I like about Oscar nominations is the surprises. So stay tuned for that. Who else will get a nod? And we'll also see what nominees we will be speaking to live. But first this morning, the fate of the 10 Americans caught trying to take a busload of children out of Haiti. The Haitian government this morning says they could be prosecuted here in the United States. CBS News correspondent Bill Whitaker has the latest. Dean Reynolds in Chicago. Thank you, Dean. Time now to check the rest of the day's headlines with Erica Hill at the news desk. Good morning, Erica.
Good morning, Maggie. Thanks. The president's $3.8 trillion budget proposal getting the once-over on Capitol Hill this morning. Treasury Secretary Tim Geithner and Budget Director Peter Orszag will testify before Senate committees, answering questions about the budget and the record $1.56 trillion deficit. Among the proposals, raising taxes by nearly $1 trillion on high-income earners, a 3% boost for defense spending, and a $5,000 tax credit for companies that hire more workers. Nearly 1 year after a plane crash outside of Buffalo, New York took 50 lives, federal safety officials will deliver their final report on the accident today. CBS News correspondent Nancy Cordes has the details for us this morning. Nancy, good morning.
Good morning, Erica. This NTSB report should shed some light on just how much pilot fatigue and poor training contributed to the deadly crash.
Brad Green was heading home from a business trip when his commuter plane crashed in a Buffalo suburb.
First thing when I turned on the television was to see the plane in the flames and to think that that's where my father was. It was very difficult.
In a preliminary report last May, the NTSB cited several pilot errors as the Dash 8 made its final approach in icy conditions, including chatting below 10,000 feet, which experienced pilots know to avoid, and pulling up on the controls instead of pushing down when the plane signaled it was about to stall. Colgan Air, which operated Continental Flight 3407, has already made changes to its training guidelines, requiring pilots to log more flight time before being hired and putting pilots through tougher training maneuvers and conditions. The pilots' union says simply blaming the two who were at the controls that night ignores much broader issues.
We do need to get a new rule out on fatigue, on minimum duty and minimum rest.
The families of the victims hope the government will listen.
The standards that are in place right now, they're not enough.
The one-year anniversary of the crash is next week, and family and friends of those who died are planning to march the final miles from the crash site to the airport in Buffalo. They're calling on the FAA and Congress to impose stricter safety requirements on regional airlines. Erica?
All right, Nancy Cordes in Washington this morning. Nancy, thanks. The NFL banning tailgating at Sunday's Super Bowl in Miami due to added security. In fact, no one will be allowed within 100 yards of the stadium. Ticket holders, we're told, can expect screenings much like they get at the airport. And hopefully they'll get a little bit better weather. The area hit with heavy rain, you can see it right there, and severe flooding yesterday. For that answer, I know of only one man, Dave Price, joining us for the first check of the weather this morning. You have a magic wand, right, to make sure that we don't see that on Sunday?
No, I think we're going to be okay Sunday. The concern I have is that you can't get close to the stadium. That means Harry's going to have a very difficult time scalping. This is going to be a big problem.
Welcome back to the Early Show from New York City. Right now, though, we want to go to Punxsutawney, Pennsylvania for some breaking weather news.
Well, we want to go 10 feet over here to Dave.
Thank you, Harry. Thank you, Maggie. Thank you. Breaking news coming out right now. Breaking news, everyone. Come over to your television screens and walk on over to the weather wall with me. This is breaking weather news. Let's zoom on into Pennsylvania. Let's go there live right now and take a look at some video. All right, it's not live, but that was dramatic. Punxsutawney Phil coming out.
Yes.
He sees his shadow.
Right.
6 more weeks of winter.
So wait a minute, he came out, does that mean he's banned from serving in the military?
I meant he was removed from the tree stump, Harry.
Oh, okay.
How accurate is he?
He's as accurate as any of us, Maggie.
Actually,
124 years he has been doing this.
It's about 39%.
Oh.
Maggie, I'd say about 39%. Those are the numbers I'm putting out this morning.
Okay.
That's about all from here. We'll have more on the weather situation in just a couple of minutes. With breaking weather news, I'm Dave Price at the Weather Wall.
All right, Dave. Thank you so much. Right now, we lead off this half hour with this. If you Google these 2 words, girl fights, you'll get around 8 million hits, and a lot of them are very graphic internet videos that will disturb every single parent. CBS News correspondent Whit Johnson.
The Early Show continues now from the General Motors building in New York City.
We have more information now on the new version of We Are the World, 25th anniversary edition. So hard to believe it was 25 years ago that an all-star cast led by Michael Jackson, who got together to sing a song to help raise money for famine relief in Africa. Take a look at it then. The original was in 1985. It was written by Michael Jackson and Lionel Richie.
Right.
Produced by Quincy Jones.
Right.
And now we want to show you in its entirety the new version. All right, so some of the new faces: Snoop Dogg, Jonas Brothers, Akon, and actors this time around. Vince Vaughn was there. So the lyrics haven't changed, the song hasn't changed, but it is a definitely
the ensemble has changed
modern
a little bit.
version. Yeah.
Same producer though, right? Here you mentioned this earlier, but it is Quincy Jones who's behind this version as well.
Yeah. Some of these people in diapers when that first version.
Or not born.
Or not born.
I don't think the Jonas Brothers were around. Not all of them.
You're so
They're
right.
the Jonas Brothers.
Right.
Jennifer Hudson. And the first version raised $63 million for Africa.
There's a classic,
nice.
huh?
All of this money is going to Haiti, which
Harry
was
Connick
why I
Jr.
bet so many stars were eager to participate this time around.
And a lot of them we actually saw in that telethon a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
We're
Tony
seeing again
Bennett.
here.
Look at that.
Very nice.
Sounded great.
It does. It stands the test of time.
Indeed.
It does. It did become a classic, like Bob Geldof's Christmas fundraiser.
I love that
Do they
one.
know it's Christmas time?
They should do that one again, although the original was perfect.
And Barbara Streisand was in this yesterday, too.
Was she really?
Yeah, right.
Did not know that.
It's a big name right there.
Shot from the left side.
All right. Well, coming up, more celebrities. A big day in Hollywood. We've got the live Oscar nominations ahead here this morning on The Early Show on CBS. Will Precious take it? I'm sure it will.
Can I touch my head now?
Slow.